A lot of people ask me for the secret to getting rich, and I tell them the truth, but nobody wants to believe it. They want a hot tip or a moonshot, but real wealth is actually incredibly boring. If I never invested another dollar again, my $135,000 portfolio would still grow into over $1 million in my lifetime. That is not a guess, it is just basic math at normal market returns. But I am not stopping, and I am not slowing down. Today, I am showing you exactly how I am investing and how this portfolio is positioned to hit 7 figures. Before we break down the numbers, tell me, what is your portfolio currently at? Comment down below, because I love seeing where you guys are on this journey. I am 27 years old, and I like to keep my investing style very simple and transparent. My goal is just to build as much wealth as possible as fast as possible. Now that I have hit the $100,000 mark, I am officially on the road to $1 million. I am not trying to hit $1 million in 3 months or 6 months. I am letting time and compound interest do the heavy lifting while I focus on living my life. Just a reminder here that I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is just my personal strategy and what works best for me. Let us actually look at the math behind turning $135,000 into $1 million. If I stopped investing today and the market gets 10% a year with 2% inflation, the real return is 8%. If I let that money sit for 33 years until I am 60 years old, it grows to $1.7 million. That is awesome because it tells me I am going to be a millionaire even if I am lazy. But $1.7 million 30 years from now might not be enough to retire comfortably. So let us change one variable, which is the monthly contribution. If I invest $1,000 a month for 33 years at 8%, that number jumps to $3.46 million. If I bump that to $2,000 a month, we are looking at $5.2 million. That is extremely motivating because it shows that every extra dollar I grind for today is worth a fortune later. I also do not want to work for another 33 years. So I need to invest more money now to buy back my time. Over the past year, I have invested about $2,500 every month, which is $30,000 a year. At that rate, it will take me about 13 years to cross the $1 million mark. I would be 40 years old, and honestly, I want to hit it even sooner than that. The main thing you need to understand is that the earlier you start, the less money you actually need to contribute. If you are starting at 19 or 20 years old, you are absolutely killing it compared to everyone else. One thing people miss is that the percentage increase you need to move up another 100,000 gets smaller over time. To go from 100,000 to 200,000, you need a 100% increase. But to go from 900,000 to $1 million, you only need an 11% increase. The hardest part of investing is the first $100,000 because your money is not doing the work yet. 0 to 500,000 takes way longer than 500. I noticed this myself when my portfolio went from 100 to 135,000 in just 6 months. You do not need to take massive risks to get there. You just need consistency and time. If you can cut your expenses or scale your income, you are winning the game. Now, let us take a look at the actual portfolio breakdown of my $135,000. $98,000, or about 72% of the total, is in the S&P 500. I use the Vanguard ETF, which is VOO, because it tracks the 500 largest companies in the United States. It is the ultimate bet on American capitalism, and it is hard to beat long-term. Next, I have $24,000 in SCHD, which is a dividend growth ETF. This gives me consistent cash flow that grows steadily and makes up about 18% of my holdings. Finally, I have $12,600 in VUG, which is a tech-focused growth ETF. This adds a little extra spice to the portfolio and accounts for about 9% of the total. My goal is to get my S&P 500 position to $100,000 by the end of this year. I used to own a lot of individual stocks, but I converted everything to these 3 ETFs back in August. Now, every time I get paid, the money goes straight into VOO without me even thinking about it. I have already maxed out my Roth IRA for the year, so everything else goes into my taxable brokerage. My brokerage account is the largest piece at $68,000, followed by my Roth at nearly $40,000. My 401k is worth about $26,000, and it is also 100% in the S&P 500. Next year, my company match kicks in, which means for every dollar I put in, they give me another dollar. That is a 100% return on my money instantly, and you would be crazy to leave that on the table. I keep it simple with only 3 positions because I know that most professional fund managers cannot even beat the market. If the experts cannot beat the S&P 500, why should I waste my life trying to do it? I love VOO because it is low cost and it automatically rotates into the winners of the economy. I love SCHD because those dividends feel like a paycheck that I did not have to work for. and I use VUG to capture the massive upside of the tech sector without picking individual losers. It is a perfect balance of growth, value, and defense. The reason I stay simple is because of the low fees and the proven track record of these funds. I can automate my investing and forget it, which allows me to focus on my career and my hobbies. Having 50 different stocks and reading earnings reports sounds like a massive headache that leads to lower returns. I do not hold a lot of cash on the side because I want my money out in the world making more money. Waiting for a market crash is a loser's game because the market could go up 80% before it drops 10%. My strategy for hitting $1 million starts with a high savings rate. Your savings rate is the engine that does the heavy lifting in the beginning. Rule number 2 is to invest every single month, no matter what the news says. Rule number 3 is to keep the portfolio as boring as humanly possible. I have a win-win mindset when it comes to the stock market. If the market goes up, my wealth is growing, and that feels great. If the market goes down, I get to buy shares of the best companies in the world at a discount. When people are fearful, that is the exact time to be greedy. I am sprinting toward the next $100,000 because I know the compounding is starting to kick in. As I get older, my income will likely increase, which means I can shovel even more cash into the machine. Time multiplies every decision you make today. $100 spent on something stupid at age 20 is worth thousands of dollars in lost future wealth. I am constantly looking for ways to increase my income so I can hit that $1 million goal faster. In the future, I might adjust my portfolio to be more conservative as I get closer to retirement. But for now, in my 20s and 30s, I am staying aggressive with my index funds. I am not sharing this to brag, but to show you that wealth is accessible if you have a plan. Do not focus on what others have, just focus on your own progress over time. Think in decades, not in months, and you will find it much easier to stay the course. Every year you stay invested, you are building a wall of freedom around your life. Every unnecessary purchase is a worker you just fired from your wealth-building factory. I have seen people work for 40 years and have nothing because they wanted to look rich instead of being rich. Do not be that person. Wealth is the car you do not buy and the watch you do not wear until you can buy 10 of them without feeling it. I am 27 years old and I am already seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It is not about the money, it is about the options the money gives you. If you can reach $100,000, you have already won the hardest battle. The rest is just math and a little bit of patience. I will keep documenting this journey every step of the way because I want you to see that it is possible. Stop looking for shortcuts and start looking for index funds. Your future self will thank you for being boring today. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and hit that subscribe button. I will see you in the next one to talk about how we are going to reach 2 million. Keep grinding and keep investing. Stay boring, stay patient. Peace.